Dr. Ganeshan Shanmugavelu is a senior lecturer in the Department of Educational Studies, Institute of Teacher Education, Ipoh Campus, Malaysia. He's a very popular researcher and scholar. He has published numerous research papers in international journals. His research interest is in the Indian community in Malaysia and, of course, educational studies. He's also the president of the workshop today. He's going to talk to us on leadership in an organization. And I invite Dr. Ganeshan, sir, on behalf of the organizers and on behalf of the participants. So please start your presentation. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Prof. Deva. Can you listen to me? Can you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible. Please go on.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Deva, for this wonderful evening in India. I think around 7 something. In Malaysia,
7:12, sir.
Yeah, in Malaysia it's already 9:40 p.m. Selamat malam. Good night. And for this international virtual workshop on institutional management and administrative procedures, jointly organized by Lavender Literary Club, India, Dr. Frank, Cape Comorin Trust, Dr. Regine Silvers, and Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology, Andhra Pradesh, and not forgetting MIRHA, Malaysian Industrial Relation and Human Resource Association, founding president, Professor Bala, and I myself as the assistant secretary for the organization. It's a wonderful evening today after 3 days. So I'm going to talk about leadership, leadership in organization. Let me put my slides first. All right, leadership, as we know, we are all leaders actually, in fact. Okay, this topic is nothing new, in fact. Only thing is to refresh back our knowledge and our knowledge, especially on leadership, when we practice leadership qualities in the organization. Doesn't mean that we have to be the leader of the organization or as a principal or whatever. We as human, we are leaders. In fact, we are leader in the family. We are leader in the classroom, in the teaching and in the teaching and learning environment, and so on. So leadership is very important. So anything like yesterday, Professor Richard Ng was talking about strategic planning, and one aspect is leadership. And Prof. Bala was talking about industrial relation and how it is managed to overcome the problem of workers in Malaysia and also in the world. Okay, leadership in Malay language is kepimpinan. Okay, let me teach one word for all the audience here, especially from India. Okay, in Tamil, of course, is talamituam, right? Talamituam, kepimpinan dalam organisasi, leadership in organization. All right, leadership. Leadership. My slot today, I'll divide into few subtopics. Leadership, skills, styles of leadership. I think many of us already know about styles of leadership. There are a few slides on theories, but I won't touch on theory of leadership. And then I'll discuss about strategic leadership. What are the key points in strategic leadership? Plus, the last part will be some quotes, inspirational quotes for leadership, for us as leaders, to think about how we're going to manage ourselves and manage the organization when in the future, for example, when we lead an organization. But doesn't mean that we have to lead an organization. We ourselves are leaders. So leaders have a key role to play in developing effective organizations. They set people in the right direction and motivate them to achieve goals by satisfying their needs and by stressing the values of their contribution. They recognize and reward success, leaders, which not only gives people a sense of accomplishment, but also helps them to feel that they belong to an organization which cares for them. So we as employee or employer of an organization, we must have the sense of belonging to the organization, and we care for each other, and we feel that each one of us are very important in the organization. Here is where the leader plays their part. All right. Leadership does not produce plan. It creates vision and strategies. This describes a business, technology, or corporate culture in terms of what it should become over the long term and articulate a feasible way of achieving this goal. Okay, any organization, they have their plan, they have their goals. So how to achieve it? Who's going to lead? So the leader will play important part in this aspect. All right. According to Bucks, 1985, leadership means the ability to lead. Okay, how am I going to lead the people? How am I going to lead the organization? And the leadership capacity refers to one's capability as a leader and strength of a leader. Okay, leadership capacity is seen as an influence. Okay, leaders must be able to influence people in the organization. Influence here means that doing good things to achieve the goals of the organization, an art or a process of influencing people so that they will strive willingly and enthusiastically towards the achievement of common goals. So how important is leader here, especially to all of us here? So we must be very supportive, very influential in an organization. Same goes to if we are teaching in the classroom, all right? Whether we are lecturer or teacher, we are the leader in the classroom. We lead the pupils in the classroom. We are observed by the students. We are the role model. So our leadership qualities is very important when we teach in the classroom. So what is leadership? What is leadership? All right, leadership is getting things done through people. This is in a bigger context, right? It happens when there is an objective to be achieved or a task to be carried out, and when more than one person is needed to do it. Any organization, we are not alone. We are not a sole runner. We are not a lone ranger. We have other people around us. So we are not one person. So to lead the organization is a difficult task, in fact. All managers are by definition leaders in that they can only do what they have to do with the support of their team. If there is no support, nothing can be achieved. So the leader plays important part to motivate all the people in the organization who must be inspired or persuaded to follow them. Okay, to follow them to achieve the task, the vision, the mission of the organization. It's very important. So leadership is therefore about encouraging and inspiring individuals. Later, I will show the inspiring words for leaders and teams to give of their best to achieve a desired result. So result is the main focus here, all right? So we must achieve something for that. So we have to lead the organization in a proper manner. Even in a family, we can talk about a leadership is everywhere in a family, in a family. Father, mother is the leader. Father is the leader. How they bring up the children. It's all about leadership. It starts from the family, in fact. The overall aim of leaders to achieve the task with the help of their group. All right? The group must help the leader. To meet this overall aim, leaders have three main objectives, right? First, to gain the commitment and cooperation of their team. Cooperation is very important, right? If the team didn't cooperate, nothing can be done. We can be a good leader, very outstanding leader, and so on. But without cooperation, our organization will collapse. It's very common. Doesn't matter it's in business environment, it's a public sector, it's a service environment, or whatsoever, right? Commitment and cooperation of the team is very important. Second, to get the group into action to achieve agreed objective. We already agree what objective we're going to achieve in the organization. So to achieve that, we work in a team, all right? So number three, to make the best use of the skills, energies, and talents of the team. We must understand in the team, in the organization, each one of us have their own skill and talents. So we develop the skill, we develop the talents of the members in the organization so that we will achieve what the organization supposed to achieve. It's very important. We never, like here is where when Leslie Prof. Bala was talking about IR, industrial relation, human resource management plays important part in this aspect, all right? Okay, leaders aim to get people to do what they think is necessary by obtaining and willing cooperation. So people must be willing to cooperate in the organization. Same goes to in the family. The children must cooperate with the parents. If the children don't cooperate with the parents, then this is another problem in the family. So same goes, the organization is a family. The classroom is a family. So they build up the moral of their groups. Leaders build up the moral of the groups, which will be high when the group is productive and works well together. So productivity, yesterday, I think Professor Bala was talking about productivity, right? So productivity can be achieved in an organization when all the workers work together, work well together. Doesn't matter, whatever aspect, everybody must cooperate and willing to support each other, motivate each other to achieve their goals. All right, leadership. Leadership is a part of management, but not all of it. Managers are required to plan, to organize. Planning is very important, strategic planning. All right, but all we ask a leader is that they influence others to follow. All right, others to follow, the workers. The follow here, actually, the following aspect here is to achieve the mission and vision of the organization, the objective, to be productive and so on. So leadership is the ability to persuade others to seek defined objective enthusiastically. It is the human factor that binds a group together and motivate it towards goal. It's human factor. So it's not easy. To manage human is a difficult task. I think we understand this as an academician, right? How we manage our classroom. It's not easy. So it is the ultimate act that brings to success all the potential that is in an organization and its people. All right. So what make a leader? How? I mean, of course, we as we are very experienced. In fact, all of us are very experienced. So we are a leader in our own self, in our own capacity. So maybe we have read a lot of books, a lot of materials. We are very knowledgeable. So this is just to refresh our mind, to know what is leadership all about, and to change to be a better leader. So task and psychological support. Leaders provides both task and psychological support for their followers. They help assemble and resources, budgets, power, and other elements that are essential to get the job done. They also must stimulate people want to do the job. Leaders stimulate the people under them. All right, we are not looking down at them. The main aim is to achieve the goals. So we stimulate the people to do work and so on, to motivate the employees, the workers. Okay, so this is very important. All right, role modeling. So leaders are role model. Leaders serve as role models for their followers, who tend to act in about the same way that the leaders do. Okay, leaders must do good things. They must show good example to their followers, so the followers will follow them. Leaders as followers. Besides, we want followers to follow us. We are also followers. Leaders in organizations are also followers. They nearly always report to someone else. Normally, we report to someone else, the bosses. Leaders must be able to clear both heads gracefully to be able to relate both upwards and downwards. So it's very important. If you are in the middle position, we have to report to somebody up there. Okay, so we must be well prepared to face this situation, because it's not easy actually. We can read a lot of books, we can come up with a lot of theory and so on. Practically on the ground, things will be different from what is in the book. So situation is very important. So we have to adjust to the situation, and then we have to see what's on the ground to change our leadership style when we are doing something practically. All right. Normally, theory and practical is two different things, right? theory is very idealistic. Practicality only we can know once we are on the ground. All right. Leadership qualities. Leadership qualities. Effective leaders focus on a fairly small range of key issues. Have a very clear idea of what they want to do about those issues, and have the ability to set the direction and take people with them. So these are very effective leaders. They know what direction to set, ability to set the direction, and make sure the people with them, people always follow them. So successful leadership sometimes seems to depend on having the right qualities at the right time. Right qualities at the right time. If you have the quality at the wrong time, sometimes it will give problem. So this is only theory. So what are the factors that influence and develop leadership qualities? Okay, what are the factors that influence and develop leadership qualities? All right. So we look at it. First, ability to work with people. So we must understand as a leader. So we are talking in the perspective, we as leader, we must be able to work with people. Second, early responsibility for important tasks. When one task is given, responsibility will be there. Sometimes it's a new task. So we must be responsible for the task, for the task that is given to us. 3, a need to achieve result. Leadership experiences early in career, okay? Sometimes it needs experience. Not all leaders can be, on the spot, become very effective. So we need to learn. We need to get experience. Wide experience in many functions, ability to do deals and negotiate, willingness to take risk. This is one important factor. Risk management. How dare we going to take risk? Ability to have better ideas than colleagues, having talents stretched by immediate bosses, ability to change managerial style to suit occasion. This is what I was telling just now. In which occasion we are, in what environment, on the ground. So we have to change our style. All right. Okay. Leadership is largely an acquired skill. To start with, a leader needs intelligence, a positive attitude, and a combination of the qualities of courage and common sense. So this is very skillful for us, actually. In fact, of course, we are all knowledgeable, all educated, most of us are academicians. So the intelligence is there. We must have positive attitude and also qualities and also common sense. So successful leaders, as they gain experience, build on these natural talents and develop the wide range of skills they need. So it's a learning process. Leaders, it's experience. It's a process. It's a process to achieve what we want as leader, to be an effective leader. Experience plays important part, in fact. All right. Okay. Personality traits of successful leaders. These only examples. You can read in the books also. So I just explained. In general, right? Leaders are more intelligent, but not so. It is only general perception are more intelligent than their followers. Although not too much so, lest they appear to be remote, with difficulties in communicating and getting their views accepted. Sometimes the workers are more intelligent than us. We have to accept the facts. So we don't look down at them. So workers are very important, in fact. Generally speaking, we assume, people assume that we are more intelligent. So leaders also tend to be better adjusted. We can adjust, more dominant, more extrovert. Leaders must be extrovert. If a leader is introvert, it's very difficult for the people, for the workers, for employees or their colleagues or their staff to communicate with them. They must be well exposed and extrovert, jovial, and so on. Very communicative, very interactive, less conservative, and to have a better understanding of people than the rank and file. So we must understand the people around us. Like in the classroom, if you are a teacher, if you are a lecturer, you must understand your students. So we must be extrovert. We must be more dominant in the class. So this is where leadership plays important part. It's not only in the organization, in the big organization, in a small organization, classroom is an organization. So we academicians, lecturers or teachers, we are the leader in the classroom. We are the leader in the teaching and learning process. Okay, so this is what the students observe us and they learn. So it's very important, right? Okay, it is interesting to note that these characteristics just now are sometimes latent, right? It's hidden. Sometimes these characters are it's latent, it's hidden. Huh? People have these leadership qualities, but sometimes they are not exposed. Only emerging when people are put into leadership positions. Once you give a position to certain individuals, then we can see how they shine, how they perform. Until they are not given a position, we don't know how capable are they. So that's why this is very important. So we must give the task to an individual to lead something, to show his capability and skills and so on. All right. Leadership skills. All right, there are a few skills here. One is technical skills. Refers to a person's knowledge and ability to any type of process, a technique. Let's say they are in the technical side. Human skill is very important for leadership. It's the ability to work effectively with people and to build teamwork. All right. So leader at any organization level escapes the requirement as effective human skill. It's a major leadership behavior, human skill, because we are dealing with human. We as human, as leader, are dealing with another human. It's not easy. You can use all psychology theory, but sometimes it is not effective. So how are we going to apply this actually? In fact, it's all experience and patience. It's very important, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's a human skill. And then conceptual skills is the ability to think on terms of models, framework, and broad relationships such as long-range plans. All right, it becomes increasingly important in higher managerial jobs. So when we are promoted to a higher position, we have to have a lot of knowledge here. One is conceptual skills, deals with ideas, while human skills, conceptual skills, the leaders come up with ideas. Human skills concerns people, and technical skills is with people. So three aspects here makes a better leader. All right. So it's a learning process. For a beginning, maybe it's difficult, but slowly we can improve on it. That's why we have to read a lot. We have to read a lot. Always we have to read. Do a lot of reading. Will enhance our knowledge and so on. All right. Types of leadership. I think this one many people know already. One is natural leadership. This is born. All right. A leader who possesses natural capacity as his own advantage. In human history, a group of people will be led by an influential people last time during the historical period last time. Although he may not be formally appointed, this person usually is the eldest, the most experienced, owns certain skill and has high interpersonal skills. This is during those days. He's highly admired and respected, and so well naturally be selected as the leader. Okay, in a small village. For example, in India we have this Pannayar. We watch in the Tamil movies. Who is the leader there? How they select him? All right, sometimes it's natural. All right, charismatic leadership. Max Weber stated that through charismatic leadership, a leader is considered by his followers as a person who has a special and exceptional quality that can solve all his problems and will give full commitment. According to House and Howell, there are certain personality traits possessed by charismatic leader. How they are? Okay, for example, charismatic leader have high self-esteem, willing to take risk, performance-oriented, creativity and innovation-oriented, energetic, being influential towards a subordinate, considerate, sensitive, and responsive. This is in a general organization. How about leaders in the country? Charismatic leaders. Mahatma Gandhi is one of them, for me. Nelson Mandela. And in Indonesia last time, President Suharto is a charismatic leader. There are many leaders in the world who are charismatic. People look at them in very high level. Former President of India, Abdul Kalam. Okay, we in Malaysia always have high respect on Abdul Kalam. All right, so these are all charismatic leaders. Maybe there are many more in our opinion. All right, and then bureaucratic leader. According to Weber, bureaucratic leadership is in an organization aimed to maximize efficiency through rational management approach. Bureaucratic leadership emphasizes on hierarchical structure, division of fields of specialization, goal-oriented, putting up rules. They're very particular about rules and discipline, technical work, procedures, employment based on qualifications and efficiency. So we in organization, sometimes we get these kind of leaders for us. Very bureaucratic, right? Very bureaucratic. Rules and regulation disciplines is more important, right? All right, distributed leadership. This is one more aspect, style of leadership. Emphasizes on teamwork and high cooperation between the leader and his members. This type of leadership is distributed in an interactive network among colleagues. Such leadership can create a spirit of cooperation among colleagues. One of my friends in Malaysia, Dr. Raju, former senior lecturer at Institute of Teacher Education in Penang, he did his PhD in University of Science on distributed leadership in Tamil schools in Malaysia. Distributed leadership. In fact, myself, Prof. Bala, and Dr. Raju has published one chapter in book. The book is on leadership. So we contribute one chapter on distributed leadership in Tamil schools. We work together and publish. It's in Malay language. Okay, it's in 2 years back, right? 2 years or 3 years back, under University of Malaysia Kelantan. All right. Okay. Autocratic leadership. People don't like this kind of leadership, right? But what to do? If there's a leader for us like this, we have to accept the fact. This refers to a leader who gives commands and makes all the decisions. This type of leader is very concerned with his position as an authority. An autocratic leader is concerned with the performance of his duties and leads by using a formal source of power. Leaders who adopt this style of leadership will make decisions, give instructions, and make sure all the instructions are complied with. Everybody was complied with their instruction. This leadership style is ideal for an organization. I skip this one. And one more, humanistic leadership. Very human. To a human way of leading and organize and shows higher interest towards the needs of the subordinates. It is more concerned with good working environment fostered through warm friendship, very friendly, humanistic values. This style of leadership tries to avoid conflict by encouraging cooperation in the organization. All right, democratic leadership. As we know, this is one more. To give each member to give opinions or views before a decision is made. Leaders are concerned democratically with the involvement of every member in making a decision or actions. Distributed power, all right? Laissez-faire leadership. Give full freedom, very free in the organization, subordinates to take action or make decision. He does not intervene at all. This is quite dangerous in an organization. Okay? Give freedom to the people in the organization. The leader does not have clear goals and work objective and make no plans. This kind of leader will leave all the decisions to be made by subordinates. So will be a problem in the future, all right? So leadership theories I skip. There are three theories. This one I skip first. Theory X and Theory Y. I think most of us in the management aspect, we know about this. We go for the role of the leader, all right? The role of the leader. All right, leaders have two essential roles, all right? First, achieve the task in the organization. The leader's role is to ensure that the group's purpose is fulfilled. The organization's purpose is fulfilled. If it is not, the result is frustration, disharmony, criticism will happen, eventually perhaps disintegration of the group. So this is very important to achieve the task. So this is one of the essential role by the leader. Second, maintain effective relationship. One is to achieve the task. Another one, the relationship among the people in the organization, between themselves and the members of the group and within the group. These relationships are effective if they are conducive to achieving the task. They can be divided into those concerned with the team and its moral and sense of common purpose, and those concerned with individuals and how they are motivated. So two different aspects here, right? Achieve the task, maintain the effective relationship. So this will come together. So how are we going to plan out for it as a leader? For example, in the classroom also same. We have our objective, learning objective to be achieved in the classroom. Plus, we must make sure that the students in the classroom also interact each other and have good relationship. So there is where we will perform our duty as a teaching and learning process, as a leader in the teaching and learning process. Doesn't matter, it's a small classroom, it's a big classroom, it's a lecture hall, and so on. All right? Okay, leadership checklists. Just now we're talking about task. So what are the checklists for the task? What needs to be done and why? What result has to be achieved? What problems have to be overcome? It's a general view. Is this a crisis situation? What is the time scale for completing the task? What pressures are going to be exerted on the leader? Whether it's a private sector or public sector, every sectors have their own task. Even in the classroom, in the teaching and learning process, we have our task. Students are given the task, assignments, and so on. So everything is here. The leadership qualities that we perform, we practice is very important to make sure the tasks we give to the students are done well. Okay, the students can produce a good task. I mean, the assignment once they send the assignment to us. This one example, teacher as a leader, lecturer as a leader. In the companies, in big multinational companies, the task will be different for productivity and so on. Okay, the team. What is the composition of the team? How well is the team organized? Do the members of the team work well together? What will they want to get out of this? How can the commitment of this particular team be achieved? How are results to be obtained by satisfying their needs? Okay, how are they likely to respond to the various leadership styles or corporate styles or approaches which may be adopted? So this is the team performance. So the leader must make sure all these aspects are taken into account in the organization. All right, the individuals in the team. What are the strengths and weakness of each member of the team? That is the SWOT analysis will come in. How are they likely to respond individually to the various leadership techniques or styles the leader may adopt? So these are all important in an organization. When it comes to family, it's different task to upbring the family, the children, and so on. So the father and mother plays important part in the family. So we have experienced it since we are small. Now we have family, we are experiencing it. So how are we going to tackle? It's our own style of leadership in the family. Sometimes it's very idealistic, but practically everything can happen. So we must manage well using all our skills we have, since we are all educated. But doesn't mean that we have all the skills to manage the family in a very proper, good way. It all depends on how we're going to strengthen the family members and be a team in the family. Same goes to the organization and so on. All right, now we go for strategic leadership. What is strategic leadership? Strategic leadership involves the ability to anticipate, envision, maintain flexibility, empowers others to transform and change in tandem. Yesterday, Prof. Richard Ng was talking about strategic planning, strategic goal, and so on, right? So leadership is important in a strategic planning. So we need to be strategic, bring out the best in creativity and innovation. Just now, Dr. Zul was talking about innovation. and also during pandemic time, how innovative are we? How our business are going to be innovative? Yesterday, Prof. Bala was talking about during pandemic, how we're going to be creative, overcome the situation, especially businesses. Okay, like AirAsia, Prof. Richard Ng was talking about AirAsia. They already divert the business, but the flight business to other aspects. How creative are they? So multifunctional process that involve others either in a linear or hierarchical framework. Okay, the significance is placed and concentrated on the whole organization rather on a sub-unit basis. These are what involved in strategic leadership. And a managerial blueprint and directional chart. Okay, another one, strategic leadership, effective strategic leadership. What are the aspects involved? Balance controls, developing human capital in the organization. Humans are the capital of the organization. They cannot be like that, static, vacuum. Be like that forever. Human need to be developed. That's why we have a lot of staff development program, human capital development program, and so on. Like for teachers and lecturers in the institutions, we have to develop ourselves. And then identifying core competencies, attune organizational culture. The organizational culture must be changed from time to time to suit what is needed on that time. All right. So it needs to be tuned. So the leaders have to think about it. And ethical practices is the core for any organization and any leadership qualities. Leaders must be high ethical values. It's very important, right? Moral and ethical value is very important. Integrity will come into it actually to lead an organization. So these are the aspects of effective strategic leadership. So strategic leadership here is actually good leadership is not necessarily strategic leadership. And not all leadership needs to be strategic. So we plan out what needs to be done for the organization is more important, right? All right. Strategic leadership involves good leadership, vision, clearly defined goals, good communication skills, enthusiasm, commitment. We are a team player, very objective. We have our objective, courage, and delegates the duties, jobs accordingly to the members of the organization and be fair and treat them well. This is very important. So this is what strategic leadership all about. And then strategic leadership also involves skillful planning and managing of anything. That is strategic. Leadership is the ability to inspire and lead others. So when we combine these, strategic leadership is thinking, acting, and influencing by individuals, teams, and organizations. So looks easy, but it's not. When we are dealing with human, a lot of things will come into in the management process. So that is where we have to use our skill, our persuading skill, negotiation skill, leadership skill, communicative skill, interactive skill, and we use psychological aspect to manage our team in the organization. So we have to think strategically, not important. In fact, it's not really easy. Same goes to political leadership. There is another thing, political. They are also leaders. So how are they going to think? All right, thinking, acting, and influencing individuals, team, and in a country, the prime minister of a country, leadership quality is important. The president of a country, everything involves leadership. And there are also many other leadership styles. Like I've read about spiritual leadership. In India, spiritual leadership is very important. We need to know about spiritual leadership to to manage the organization well. And also one more, we used to hear about servant leadership. Leaders are the servant, okay? We are the servant to lead the people. All right. Okay, the last part of my slides. I have 73 slides. Never mind, this one will go very fast. These are inspirational quotes and insights for leaders by some philosophers. According to Warren, leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. organization have vision. How to translate the vision? Leadership plays important part to make it a reality. So the moment you stop learning, you stop leading. So we leaders have to learn, keep on learning, because learning is a lifelong process. It don't stop. Okay, it will stop when we die. Simple as that. Okay. All right. An important question for leaders: am I building people, or building my dream, or using people to do it? According to John Maxwell. So we can think about it. Outstanding leaders appeal to the hearts of their followers, not their minds. We must be in the heart of the people in the organization. No man will make a great leader who wants to do it all himself, or to get all the credit for doing it. So everybody have to work together, work in a team, teamwork. All right, the highest compliment leaders can receive is the one that is given by the people who work for them. So they compliment the leaders. Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. That's not right. We have to read. Learn, get experience. Huh? Knowledge is very wide. So to expand our knowledge, enhance our knowledge, we have to read. So leadership development is a lifetime journey, not a brief trip, according to John Maxwell. Huh? It's a journey. Okay, success is a journey. Okay, the destination, we don't know when is the destination, right? All right. It is wonderful when the people believe in their leader, but it is more wonderful when the leader believes in the people. So we must believe in our people. In a family, we must believe our children. We must believe our organization. We must believe our student. If a leader demonstrates competency, genuine concern for others, and admirable character, people will follow us. All right. The ultimate leader is one who is willing to develop people to the point that they eventually surpass him or her in knowledge and ability. I got another 5 minutes to complete my slides for question and answer session, right? All right, leadership is getting someone to do what they don't want to do. We want someone to do something to achieve what they want to achieve. Tom Landry, leadership is not a position. You are not a leader because you have a title of a manager, but leadership is something that we earn from followers on a day-to-day basis. Of course, the title is a leader. You are a manager of a company, okay? But we get the title day by day by the followers, how they respect us. Leadership is based on spiritual quality. The power to inspire, others to follow. Then our job will be easy. We can accomplish our task, we can finish our task, our vision will be achieved, the mission we use to achieve our vision will be easier, right? When we can inspire others. The first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. The last is to say thank you. We must always say thank you to others. Wish them. In between, the leader is a servant. Okay, in between this, the leader is a servant. So we must always be humble, go to the ground, okay, and be with them, with our employees, with our colleagues, and so on. All right. The final test of a leader is that he leaves behind in other people the convictions and the will to carry on. All right. John C. Maxwell. The very essence of leadership is that you have to have a vision. Vision is very important in an organization and also in a country. Like in Malaysia, we have Vision 2020, which was started by our former Prime Minister Tun Mahathir in 1991. Vision 2020, all right? So now we have Vision 2030, all right? So how are we going to achieve it? So we put the missions there, all right? Okay, a leader's role is to raise people's aspirations for what they can become and to release their energies so they will try to get there. So the real leader has no need to lead. He is content to point the way, all right? Of course, we are thinking we are leading. We are leading. At the same time, we must point the way. We must show the example. We must show the right direction to the people. Successful leaders have the courage to take action while others hesitate. If you stop learning today, you stop leading tomorrow. Just now, right? Talking about it. All right. Good leadership is motivating and mobilizing others to accomplish a task or to think in ways that are for the benefit of all concerned. Leadership rests not only upon ability, not only upon capacity. Having the capacity to lead is not enough. His leadership is then based on truth and character. There must be truth in the purpose and willpower in the character of a leader. Leadership consists of the principles, skills and attitudes that enhance the integrate knowledge, trust, and power. So leadership means staying out in front as well as only doing what we can do well. We are the front, we are in front of our people. Leadership is not something that you learn once and for all. It is an ever-evolving pattern of skills, talents, and ideas that will grow and change as you do. Okay, a boss creates fear. A leader creates confidence. A boss fixes blame. A leader corrects mistakes. A boss knows all. A leader asks questions. A boss makes work drudgery. A leader makes it interesting. A boss is interested in himself or herself, but a leader is interested in the group. Russell H. Irving. It's very nice quotation here, right? What a boss and what a leader. Okay, so where are we now? What are we going to be? In the classroom, for example. So as a teacher, we must be a leader with confidence, correct mistakes, ask questions, make things interesting, and so on. A real leader faces the music even when he doesn't like the tune. The function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. Okay? Although people follow us, but we must produce more leaders. Like we as academicians, we are the core for the next generation. So we produce more leaders in the future. All right. To be a leader, you have to make people want to follow you, and nobody wants to follow someone who doesn't know where he is going. So trust is the emotional glue that binds followers and leaders together. So we must have the trust, we trust each other. The key to successful leadership today is influence, not authority. The quality of leader is reflected in the standards they set for themselves. So this is what leadership all about. So lastly, I'd like to wish thank you, terima kasih in Malay language, Nandri Tamil Vanakkam to all of you. And this is the third day of our workshop. And this is my email address. Can email to me anytime or can WhatsApp to my mobile number there. Okay, can WhatsApp to my mobile number there. It's not a problem, right?
Yes, so that was really lively.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Prof.
It was full of, thought-provoking strategies and styles, and you made it up to date, especially the styles of leadership and the components of leadership, the constituents of leadership. You have explained beautifully. I think anybody, it was so simple and direct, anybody could have understood and followed what you were saying. And the icing on the cake, so to say, was the quotes that you came up with. You spent almost 10 minutes on the quotes, and we really enjoyed it. And we would love to have the PPT that you have shown us, so that we can also, take notes from that and benefit by it. Now we have a question, sir, from John QME. Would you be in a position to answer that now, sir?
Yeah, I can.
I'll read it out for you.
Okay, Ken, thank you. Please elaborate on the critical skills
Yes.
For the 21st organizational leader in the context of leadership in the education industry. Wow,
Yes.
this is a very big question in the 21st century now, right?
Yes.
Organizational leader in the context of leadership in the educational industry. Okay, education industry, when we look at education industry, it is very wide. It can be school, it can be a preschool, school, primary school, secondary school, colleges, higher learning institution, universities, and so on, either private sectors and so on. So everywhere, every aspect of this educational institution or industry, leadership plays important part. It doesn't mean that it's for the 21st century leadership or whatever, I mean the previous 20th century leadership. Of course, in 21st century, the leadership qualities are very advanced because this is now a technological world, right? And now during this pandemic, we never expected our leadership qualities are changing. We change a lot, especially in our classroom, but become online classroom by Google Meet and Zoom and so on. So here we have to be well prepared in this 21st century to face the challenges as an educational leader, especially in schools. For example, we in Malaysia now, I think in India also, Sam, I'm also saying, maybe in Malaysia, all the teachers now are working from home, and it's there are some problems also for the students to follow the class, the teaching and learning process. But yet, we try to lead the people in the classroom we are working from home using Google Meet and so on, because classes have to go on. We cannot stop classes. Same goes to the college level. Like myself, I myself as a lecturer, as a senior lecturer at the Institute of Teacher Education, my classes are all online. So this is what leadership on the 21st century is going to be, and this is going to happen in the future. So now we are well prepared mentally, spiritually, physically. This is what the trend of teaching going to be. I never, to be frank, I never go online 100% before this, but now I have to. So I have to learn new skills. And since this pandemic, since last year, I started to get involved in the webinar where from India, Tamil Nadu, Gita Jivan Arts and Science College, Dr. Diliban contacted me through one of the journal. He read my journal. He contacted me and asked me to be a resource person for one of the webinar he organized. So that was my first time in a webinar. So I was very excited, very stressful also, first time. But once done for the first time, I was so enjoying and keep on going until Dr. Frank of Lavender Literary Club approached me. And since then, almost every month, we are having a workshop, webinar, and so on. So these are all leadership qualities are coming into part. And I can see this through Dr. Frank's leadership aspects. He's organizing this webinar workshop almost every month, 2 months once, and different topics. Like last time it was environmental topic, and then research writing, and then faculty development program. And we are also coming up next, ethical conference, management conference, and we are also planning to organize Indian diaspora conference, virtual conference. I'm now talking to Dr. Frank, in fact. So these are all in the future. So these are what we are going to prepare. Okay, so leadership, as I told you, it doesn't matter where we are. We are leaders. The qualities will come in when we get experience, all right? When you lead the organization, you lead a family, and so on. I hope I answer the question in my own perspective and what I can see through my own experience. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Prof.
Yes. Yes, any other question from the participants? It looks like Dr. Balakrishnan has got something to say. Sir.
Prof. Bala definitely will ask question, I know.
Yes, sir.
Prof, not so clear, Prof, your sound, volume. Since yesterday, Prof, your presentation was so good.
Okay, now okay, no?
I think can a bit.
Okay. So
Bala sir, you are not audible. Dr. Balakrishnan sir, you are not audible.
can you hear me now?
You okay?
Okay, a bit. Okay, can, I think.
All right. Because using the earphone. Okay, never mind.
All right.
All right. So I listened to since yesterday till now all the excellent presentation. I think I'd like to thanks to all the presenters, Dr. Ganesan, Dr. Prof. Richard, Dr. Zol, and also all the participants are here. I think they're all the scholars from the journalists from Malaysia and everything. Doctor, I would like to ask one question, Doctor. You mentioned many types of leadership, all right? Do you think that is actually all the leadership that you mentioned just now, conceptually and theoretically, okay, to go into the practical. Are they, each leader have different type of leadership that they can manage the like organization, regardless small, micro or big or whatever, right? And the other thing that so do you think that they have different kind of leadership, like sometimes democratic, sometimes humanistic, sometimes they're autocratic, something like that? Because in my life, I work with the many VCs. I think more than 7-8 VCs.
Vice Chancellor.
Yeah, Vice Chancellor. Sorry, Vice Chancellors. And I saw they are different kind of leadership, and some all mix up. Sometimes some of them don't care, Many don't care means they trusted the employees, they know what they're doing, and they know what we're doing. Some VCs go and micromanage. Micromanage. So a lot of leaders micromanage. I can feel that they're not happy. Those micromanage not happy. Those leaders really like have all kind of qualities. I mean, they got distributive, they got humanity. So from your research you're done, and I know you're the expert in the historical in history. You see a lot of leaders in not only Malaysia, around the world. So, Doctor, what is your advice? What kind of leadership? Do you want a mixed characteristic of leadership, or just one leader can especially looking at now COVID-19? So,
Okay, Prof. Very, very difficult question to answer, in fact, because theoretically, as you said, looks nice. Okay, anything theoretically is very idealistic. Like this now I was talking about many leadership style: charismatic leader, democratic leader, humanistic leader, bureaucratic leader, distributive leader, and so on. It doesn't matter, in fact, because it doesn't mean that one leadership, any of the leadership, the best leadership. No, it can be combined of all of it. But at the end of the day, how we going to practice it in our organization, on the ground, practically, it's very important actually, because some people, once they are given that position, when they are given to lead, when they are promoted to lead an organization, they change overnight. They change in a different perspective, a different aspect where we didn't expect, and they become more like like a control and so on. But before that, we see him or her very jovial, very like cooperative and so on. Once given the position, that's it. So this thing happen also. So it's all human. It's all the character and the attitude of the leader plays important part. In fact, the theory can be anything. Theory is there, like psychological theory, right? Behavior theory, cognitive theory, and so on. A lot of theories we learn, throughout our life, especially educational theories. But when we come to the classroom, very difficult. Of course, we use the theory to teach indirectly, but it's all situational, situation and occasion. Where are we? What's the situation? So we have to change according to situation. Our leadership style can change, no problem. Sometimes you can be democratic, sometimes you can be bureaucratic, sometimes you can be autocratic, but don't be 100% follow one leadership style. For me, it's very dangerous. In my opinion, the human value must come into aspect. Humanistic value is very important. We are also human. Maybe we are the leader in the organization. At the end of the day, we are also human. Before we are the leader, we came from zero. Then only we are at that position. So we don't forget the past. We must always remember the past. Past is very important. Where are we from? How we come up? So this is how the others will feel. So we manage the organization using different style of leadership and make sure the important thing is that the task or the vision should be achieved. So this is very important. That's why communication skills comes into account. Interactive skill. There are many models, communication models and so on. We must communicate well. We must expose, extrovert. Don't be too introvert. So the people around us mustn't have fear when they come and see us if we are a leader, right? So always have the door open for them, okay? But of course, I can say here, very idealistic, in the ground, different thing will happen. So the person concerned is the most important thing. Once you become a leader, you are the one who have to decide what you are supposed to be for the organization. It's very important. We can attend many courses, we can attend workshops, we can attend seminars. Nothing will be achieved if we never change. So the leader must change according to time. Make sure the changes is for the organization, on the people in the organization, and the people is very important, not for ourselves. So, okay, we are in the organization. We always remember in like Prof, you're asking about higher learning, I mean, educational institution, same. Companies also same. Bosses also same. Employers, I think, Prof, we have done a lot of research on employers and employees, how the employees are treated. The leaders are employers. So these are the very important aspect, especially. So we are the one who are going to decide when we are given the position, how we're going to lead the organization. Theory is one aspect. We must know theory. Theory is very important. So we use the theory in the ground, depend on the situation, and how we're going to apply. That's more very important. Okay, Prof, I think you should know better also, Prof, because you are in the industry, work with the workers. Same goes to the workers, Prof, right? And the employees.
Yeah, that's why, I want to ask the question, because see, the leader play an important role. Walk and talk, Sometimes, in the industry, there are leaders. They have a multiple characteristic that you mentioned. They are superb. You know why? They don't do. They trust. I think trust is very important issue.
Yes.
At this moment. So because if you don't trust your subordinate, then how are you going to trust yourself? So I believe trust issue very important. At the same time, you mentioned just now, the leader must believe also the subordinate, and the subordinate also must respect the leader. So that you go hand by hand. Then you see the country or the organization can go in it. But another thing, Doctor, why middle-aged people never given a chance to be leader? They're always the old one, always want to dominate. In fact, when like I think you and me like that. When it comes to the time like age, we want to pass the baton to the young one. Am I right? Like
yes.
Dr. Zul was a very young scholar. my boss. I respect him. But what he said to me is actually a mentor. Even though it's a young, but I want that, pass on the baton to them. So why? I want to ask a question. Why there are many the senior members doesn't believe to the middle managers? I'm not the young one. I'm not the young one.
Middle-aged, Prof.
So, Doctor, what is your opinion on that?
I mean, you mean given a chance to the middle-aged people, is it, or the young ones?
Pass the button so that they can. I mean, actually, mentor-mentee, they won't harm you, but they will help you, in terms of that. But why this situation never happened? Why still the senior still want to dominate, still want in the power, and still want to control the people? But at the end of the day, people are happy. People are leaving the organization.
Yeah, I agree with you, Prof. Actually, the senior ones should already start to train the young ones to lead the organization in the future. It's very important. Rather than keep on holding the post until to the end, once they are not there, then there will be another problem. Who is going to lead the organization? That's why I'm telling you, Prof. Actually, we are telling why this happened. Why? We are asking the question, why? So the leaders themselves must think about it. Think of what's going to happen in the future if I leave this organization. So do I already train, train another person to lead the organization? So they must think about it. Sometimes we can tell, let's say you were talking about walk the talk, right? Walk the talk. How many leaders, most of them are just walking, never talk. And some of them are just talking, but don't walk. Walk the talk is very important, right? So here, for me, I feel that I agree with you, Prof. Actually, like we are all 50s, okay, 50, middle age. Once we're going to leave, the younger one will take over. So that's what you are telling about mentor-mentee program. It's not mentee, what we say, have to follow everything. Mentor-mentee program is very important actually in any organization where we train the people to lead in the future. Not only in that organization, if they move to another organization, they are well prepared, okay, to lead an organization once given a duty, responsibility, and so on. So it's very important actually here to train, to already start to motivate the young ones actually. Motivation is very important, and also get them into training, continuous professional development. We call it CPD, right? Continuous professional development for the young ones to get involved and get a lot of input. Of course, theoretically is very important. Theory is very important. And then when it comes to practical, we try to apply according to situation. But we apply with full of ethics and integrity. That is very important. Any suggestion, Prof? Any ideas or anyone else that can give ideas? Because leadership is very wide. It's very subjective. It's a big topic actually. Anybody can give opinion. Anybody can talk about leadership. Through their experience and so on. It's not this is right, this is correct. No, anything can be in leadership as long as the organization are successful, achieve the goals, and be successful and be productive. That's more important. Okay. Yes, Prof. Dewa, any other questions?
Yes. Is there any other question from the participants? The resource person is available now. He'll be only too happy to answer your questions. Dr. Ganeshan is all cheers.
Yeah, never mind. It's another 10 minutes to 11 p.m. here.
Yes.
No,
Okay. It's going to be 8:20. Yes.
Tomorrow in Malaysia is a public holiday for Vesak Day.
So no problem, Prof. We can work until midnight also.
Tomorrow is a public holiday, Prof, in Malaysia.
Okay.
So no problem.
Yeah.
We are working from home.
Any questions, participants?
Any share experience or opinions? No problem. Because the leadership is very wide. Okay, or maybe got better ideas. I would like to know about the spiritual leadership because I'm reading some books on that. In fact, spiritual leadership is very interesting actually. I'm reading some books, and there is one more on self-managing leadership, a book from India. There was a course run by the Brahma Kumaris. I have the book with me, Self-Managing Leadership, SML. I read. It's very interesting actually. Before we manage other people, we manage ourselves. Self-managing leadership. So managing our own self is important because to manage other people is another aspect. So we ourselves must be well prepared, manage ourselves, and have all the qualities. Then we impart that to other people, our colleagues and so on.
Sir, one Ms. Amuda Armuham.
Yeah, Amuda.
She has got a comment. Would you please go to the chat box and see that?
Yes, Amuda from Malaysia. She's a counselor. Okay. Becoming an effective leader requires discovering their own unique strength, limited capacities, and learning how to make real about the traits, behavior, and qualities associated with effective leadership. I think this is an opinion. I think what she wrote here is correct. Effective leader they need to discover their own unique strength. That is where the SWOT analysis will come into. That's why I was talking about manage ourselves, self-managing leadership, a limited capacities, and learning how to make real about the traits, behavior, and qualities associated with effective leadership. Yes, behavior is very important. Our own behavior and our own quality. Once we are already prepared for this, then we can lead the organization well. But yet, it's very subjective. It can be anything along the way. All right, it can be anything along the way when we meet people, when we involve with people, and so on. There is where we can change for a better person, for a better organization. Okay.
Yes, sir. Looks like we don't have any more questions.
Okay.
So we thank you so much for being part of this wonderful program. Pleasure having you again, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Prof.
On behalf of the organizers, I extend a heartfelt gratitude and thankfulness and pleasure for having you here. Thank you very much, sir.